Welcome to our Yin Yoga practice. We will, as always, just take a little time, settle into rest in whatever position is comfortable for you. If you're a fan of having any bolsters for support, either along the spine or some of us like something under the knees, feel free to set up as such. Personally, I'm very comfortable laying flat on the ground, but really doesn't matter. I'm a fan of trying to reduce any kind of stimulation in the body at the start of practice as we lay in rest. So for myself, rather than feeling a bit of stretch in something like a butterfly position, I like to be in a more neutral, passive position and just explore rest from a more neutral and less stimulating position of the body. So if you're interested in that intent, maybe copying myself is what's right for you. But let's all make sure we're aware that that's not how things work. We don't want to just copy in this practice particularly. We want to figure out what works for our individual self. Have that confidence to self-adjust, reposition, explore your experience, whatever it takes for you. Allow yourself to slow down. Allow yourself to just sink down. Have no strict breathing practice that we need to adhere to. If you lay down and everything feels beautifully comfortable, you might just let things be at that. You might not need to work towards anything more. But if it's nice for you to guide the breath gently in, gently deep, allow the breath to move softly out, then feel free to connect with the breath in that way. Move the breath in and out. And you're welcome to stick with a breathing practice throughout as we move through our postures. Or some of us might choose to just implement a little effort over the breath when things are challenging. when it feels necessary. Open yourself up to making that choice for yourself. But for now, just a little longer, laying in rest. Begin to increase a little bit of activity in the body. Wriggle through fingers and the hands, the toes, the feet. If you like a big active stretch out long, feel free to push out through that. Even a deep breath in and held with a bit of effort. Or just exhaling, softening off. We'll roll ourselves over to one side. We'll make just a moment to lay here. Make a point of not rushing. And finding our way up to a seated position. So we've got a few postures where we'll be folding forwards at first. Anyone that's joined in on a few of my classes, you may have been there when I've suggested that butterfly posture is my absolute favorite. We're not doing that right now. If it happens to be your absolute favorite, just do it. There's no yoga police. I want to encourage you to do whatever positioning and in a position, whatever alignment you're most comfortable with. If you're joining along with me, then it's legs out wide. So we come into dragonfly, hands in front. If you fold forwards in this, great. There's not a lot else to be said. You can just walk the hands out, notice where and how intensively you feel a stretch. And just explore how comfortable you can be with that, how soft you can feel despite the sense of stretch. For a lot of us, when we sit up in this position, pelvis falls backwards, the lower back rounds. We feel more like we're going to fall backwards out of the posture. If that's you, having a wall to shuffle right up against and put your back against is a great option. Another option is to just sit up on anything you have. Possibly sit a little forwards on it. So you're starting to fall off of whatever it is that you're bolstering on. Not unstable, that you're slipping, but just sitting forwards on it enough that it helps tilt you forward some. We have a good while longer still where we're at. particularly since we're doing a few postures of folding forwards at the start of this practice. I want you to know, I want you to notice if perhaps the hands come to the floor and you're pushing through the hands, maybe through the shoulders, if you're trying to hold your body up from the stretch. We don't want to be active like that. We want to be soft. So if the stretch is too much, you can go so far as to just sit in the posture leaning back on the hands. You might still get a reasonable stretch. Or you can bring a bolster or any other kind of prop forwards in front of the chest, or if you need a little more support through the neck and it works for you, chin or forehead forwards on the bolster. A slightly deeper option is forearms down onto a bolster in front of you. Can be quite a challenge to cause rest, to cause softness in the body. It's not something we can actively make happen. One thing that might help you is give yourself a little wriggle of your toes and your feet here. There's muscles that go right under the feet, up along the back of the shin. If there's just lots of tension through the legs, we can get tight through those peripheries. So just checking that at least they're soft can help create a bit of softness. If it's really overwhelming, up through the inner thigh, you can press your heels down into the floor. Squeeze your legs together a bit so that you're active and contracting these muscles for a few moments. And then you might allow yourself a deeper, stronger breath in, squeezing in a little more, and a breath out, trying to let the legs feel like they can move out. Notice if there's a little extra space for you to move forwards through. You can use that kind of work on a bit of activation, a bit of contraction to encourage the stretch whenever you want, but for the sake of this style of practice, I'd consider only using it minimally. See how much you can just soften. Just rest in, sink to where you can sink to. Only a short while longer here. we'll start to walk the hands back in under us, providing some support, pressing up through them so we don't have to work and contract through that which was under stretch. You might like to just stay here a moment, take a bit of transition in a back arch, hands behind you. I encourage you in transition just to move however you are comfy. Don't follow along with me necessarily. Bringing the legs in with some help of the hands can undo that stretch without having to work the muscles that had been under stretch. We'll allow ourselves just a little bit longer in transition now. If you want, doing a bit of a windscreen wiper movement, dropping the knees to either side might be nice after that wide dragonfly. You might just like to put your legs together, squeeze them in, shortening that which was under stretch before. We'll next move into square pose. As always, if you are familiar with the postures, just go right ahead into them. In this posture, we're looking to get the first shin across the mat perpendicular to our body. So the middle shin about in line with the midline of the body. If the second leg can just go right on top of that, wonderful. There's not too much to think about. You can just see if you fold forwards. If your knee floats up a little, that's going to increase the sensation in this hip, which might be exactly what you're here for. Or potentially it's a little too much. You could put some bolstering under there. You can go forwards, you can lean on the knees, sit out to the side a bit. Make up your alignment however you need for your individual self. Top foot in front might be an option for those of us that are feeling quite tight. Sitting up on a bolster is a good option as well. There's a lot of options for this position, a lot of variance amongst a group of people. So I'll account for the chatting that I've been up to, suggesting the options. But we have a little longer here still. Just finding what works best for yourself. If you've been working really hard at the posture and it's very tough, consider allowing yourself a bit of space, sit up a bit taller, make things a bit easier going. If you've been reasonably comfortable with things and you're open to encouraging a challenge in your yin practice, consider if you can remove any support from the posture. Maybe that is you're having had the hands on the floor or the elbows on the knees. Perhaps you can walk the hands out a little more, let the chest lower. You might even turn the palms up to reduce the support through the arms, just to increase your challenge if you like. When you're ready, you can lift the head, start to walk the hands in. You can push through the hands to help yourself up from the position, and you might find leaning back eases the tension in the hips, makes it a little easier going to uncross the legs. I'm personally fairly comfortable with some of my postures just to go immediately from one side into the other. If you're similar, you're very welcome to do so. If you're not similar and you hate that idea, give yourself a bit of time, even a minute or two. Whatever is nice for you in transition. Sometimes it's just sitting still. Sometimes it's positioning in something like child's pose. Whatever you feel is best. For the sake of our time frames, I'll say some of us might have spent the first couple of minutes of that first side figuring out our alignment, our posturing. If you're the same type of person that now needs a bit of time to figure it out or just needs a longer break between sides, that's fine. If you went straight into the first side, you're already there on the second one. You've got a little longer to enjoy yourself in that challenge. For those of us being a little more mild in the body, setting up second side, shin perpendicular. If that foot slips back a little, that's a good cheat to make it a little easier going. But if you're exploring more depth, try to keep it forwards for the shin to be more perpendicular. And then just set up in whatever manner feels right. One side may well be different from the other. So we treat each side as its own posture. Allow it to have its own alignment, whatever you need. it's likely that the sensation in the body gives you quite a lot to anchor in to the present moment with. But you need to decide if it's a friendly sensation for you, suitable to anchor in with. And if it's not, if it feels a bit aggressive, maybe you can tone it down with steady-mindedness, some breathing practice. But maybe you're better off walking the hands back in, sitting up a little taller, just ensuring that you're practicing with a degree of comfort. Build up some certainty to your comfort. If going physically deeper is more your vibe, feel free to take this as an encouragement to reach out a little, lower the chest a bit more, reduce your supports. Beginning to raise the head, starting to walk the hands in, finding your way up, out from this posture. A little lean back if that helps release things for you. We'll be making our way to child's pose, so if that sounds nice, you can go straight there. If you need a little movement, maybe the ankles feel like they garnered a bit of tension in that last posture, you might move through them and the feet. Anything else? Deliberate seated twist to each side. Just let yourself make up these transitionary movements. Notice how you feel. Respond to that with movement. That feels right. Settling in to child's pose for a little bit of time as you're ready. from child's pose. We'll start to move forwards and moving into a sequence of back bending here. So we can straighten the legs out behind. Start on the forearms in Sphinx pose. Because this is a recorded practice, you can stick with Sphinx pose a lot, but consider in time, if you've taken this same practice a few times, changing it up a little, bringing one bolster, even a couple, under the forearms, even under the lower ribs with the forearms in front. Mix up your positions a bit. Use this practice to explore some alternate alignments. While we're here, we'll do our best to be soft through the lower back, through the glutes and the back of the thighs. And if a little movement of the legs helps to soften there, great. Allow yourself to explore back in to just finding some stillness though. And there'll always be a touch of yang activity through the upper body as we support ourselves with the arms through the shoulders. So you can push up from the elbows and shoulders occasionally, but don't try to hold that effort always. Hang from the shoulders sometimes. If it's been a strong position for yourself, you might move the bolster out if you had one. You might just lay flat, take a bit of a break, but if you've still got some enthusiasm for the back bend, you could come onto the hands, press up into seal. And again, can allow there to be a bit of activity through the upper body, or you can play with just hanging like a hammock from the shoulders. Noticing where you experience the sense of the posture. And just deciding for yourself if it feels like it's a beneficial experience, if it's a sensation you want to stay with for this time, or if you need to change alignment a little. So if you had stuck with me throughout, we'll start to lower ourselves down now. So I would like you to move into a position that's relieving after the back bend. If just laying out flat forwards in crocodile is good enough, that's where I'll be for a little bit. If you need to push back to child's pose or anything else, make that choice. Do as you best need. Begin to lift the head, press ourselves up and back. If you need to stretch round the back out, you might do so. If you need some rotation or anything else, just feel free to move through whatever you need. We will make our way into Sleeping Swan next. So if you're familiar with things, well, you can head into it. We'll meet you there. Otherwise, from hands and knees, we're stepping whichever leg you want to start with forwards. And if the posture is going to feel a little tight for you, if you know it's a bit challenging, you can leave that front shin more diagonal, the heel a little closer to the groin. If you think you have a little extra flexibility available, work the shin to be more perpendicular with the body. Get the foot forwards. From wherever you get that front leg to, you can wriggle the back leg behind, start to sink the hips. If they go down easily enough, then you can walk your hands out, lower your chest. If your hips don't go down well, bringing some kind of bolstering in under the hips might help you out. If your chest doesn't naturally get anywhere near the floor, and particularly if you've never tried this, I'm really encouraging that you might bring a bolster under the chest that you can rest down onto. Do your best to not be supporting yourself through the arms here. Do your best to lay forwards. Being Sleeping Swan. If you manage to get a little nap in here, that's some extra yoga points for you. If it's a really tough position, that's all right. You can't actually spend the points on anything. Feel free to keep yourself up high. If it helps, that back leg, you can take the knee out to its side, forwards a little. And maybe you'll choose to stay in a more upright position. Take very little interest in the idea of a perfect posture. Your most perfect position will be what works for you at that time. We'll begin. Lift the head, bring the support back under us. You might be most comfortable just to keep lifting the chest, maybe pull the back knee in. Once the stretch gets a little less in that front leg, step out from there. Some of us will be quite comfy just to go immediately into the second side. Feel free to. If you're better off taking a little transition, even taking a little break for a moment, I'll leave that to you. Let that be whatever it will be for yourself. As you're finding your way into your second side, be open to the idea that it might be different from the first. Just take each side as its own separate posture. Breathe with a comfortable focus, if it helps anchor you, if it helps soften the sensation. stay with the sensation as well as you're able. But readjust up a little higher, or forwards a little deeper, if that makes sense for yourself. Begin to make our way up, out from here. Certainly a little free time available for some transition, some stretching out of those legs or just being still for a bit. But we will be making our way to laying on our back. Don't rush yourself to catch up. Just make your way here whenever you're ready. We're not up to anything too fancy just yet. We'll be bringing the knees towards the chest. Full cradle position. If you're still spending a little time transitioning after sleeping swan, it's perfectly fine. It's your practice. Make little adjustments to it. Do what you feel you need. If your full cradle needs a little rock side to side, if it needs maybe the knees a little further away from the chest and that opportunity to rock, allow yourself to do so. It's nice to be still in our yin practice, but don't be constrained by it. Use the stillness to benefit, not to cause stagnation. And if you've been with us for a little in full cradle and you'd like to join in on full stirrup, you can allow the feet up, holding the outside edges of the feet if the reach is easy. Too much reach, don't be stressed to get to the feet. Consider just bringing the hands around the thighs. As with cradle, if this is a nice posture for you to allow a little movement in before we lay in rest, let yourself take a little movement here. When you're ready, letting the feet down, letting the legs out. We will lay ourselves out in rest. Again, the use of any bolsters or other props is nice. If it's a bit cool where you are, consider a blanket. If you're like myself, you might spread the feet quite wide, spread the arms quite wide. If you'd like to join in with the practice of hold and relax with the breath, join in with me. Otherwise, just move into rest with your own method. If you are joining in, take a deep breath in, nice and full. We'll squeeze the hands into fists as we hold that breath a moment longer. Keep it held. Allow the mouth to open. With a little bit of force, breath out. Open the hands with the breath out. Soften on that exhale. And on the next inhale, deeply in. Squeeze the hands to fists. Curl the toes. Contract under the feet. Hold that effort in the body. Hold the breath in a moment. Open the mouth. And a big make noise. Spread the toes, the fingers, soften. Last time. Big breath in. Hands, feet, squeeze through the buttocks. Maybe furrow the brow. Hold the breath in a moment longer. Lots of effort in the body. Open the mouth. Soften the hands, feet, the buttocks, the brow. Sink downwards. You might allow the mouth to stay slightly open. Perhaps you'll transition to just a natural breath. Just letting the breath move at its own pace and its own depth. Here you are. Allowing yourself to just be. Experiencing this moment, the simplicity of just laying down. If where you're taking this class, you have the time to just stay in rest for any amount longer, feel free to. Whatever suits you, whatever is available to you. If you'll join me in returning to a little activity, starting perhaps through the fingers and toes and adding in some movement through the limbs. If you like a big stretch out or the alternate, a big hug in of the knees, whatever feels nice. You just return to a little movement after rest. As we roll out to the side, you might like to go to the left if you prefer the yin side. You might just take a moment laying on the side, not rushing our way up. And we can close out practice with a single chant of Om. Namaste.